Roger had a series of statements that he lived his life back and would always share with us. There's no traffic on the extra mile will always be my favorite.
There's no traffic jams on the extra mile, and I want to be on that highway.
Looking in my papa's eyes, what do you see? Honor, integrity, a competitor. A man who believes it's never the wrong thing to do the right thing. He's a leader. He developed that in the Navy, mastered it in professional football, and took it to a new level in commercial real estate.
Well, when we came to Dallas, we had been in the Navy for 4 years, so we had 3 little girls. And Roger, being very concerned and a loving husband and father, he said, I need to be able to do something in case football doesn't work out or if I get hurt. So he went to work that first off season for the Henry Miller Company.
In 1971, we won the Super Bowl, and the next morning, Mary Ann saying, well, what are you going to do now, big shot? Are you going to go back to real estate, or are you going to... And, winning the Super Bowl was a big deal, and the bell captain came up and gave me this telegram, and I opened the telegram. It was from Mr. Miller, and he said, congratulations on winning the Super Bowl, and you've been promoted to vice president.
So, for the next 8 years, 12 months, he worked at football. 5 months, Papa worked in real estate, and every day he worked as a dad.
When the kids were little, he was there all with them a lot.
And I would make sure that I went to their main events, that I knew when we had Parents' Day at the schools, and so I tried to be organized to do the best I could. But I worked hard, and it's the only way to do it.
He was home for dinner, almost every night. But I appreciated it as I got older. I realized how much time he was spending building a business, but also making a big effort to spend time with the family.
That's the extra mile. So, with a new career on the horizon, he took his final snap in 1979, and then his new baby was born, the Staubach Company.
It was a big step. And we had just had our 5th child. It was all new ground. He had never done that.
I wasn't the NFL quarterback from the Dallas Cowboys anymore. I was the real estate guy.
Roger chose to surround himself with the most talented people he could find.
We looked for people that, that didn't know anything about the real estate business, but they had a great heart, they had great energy, they wanted to do the right things, and if he liked them, we would bring them in the company and we would teach them the real estate business.
In the early 1980s, the Staubach Company was growing fast and building a reputation even faster. That reputation was of a company disrupting the industry. In those days, representing the tenant and not the landlord was new because the Staubach Company made it new.
The fact that Roger had the personal character and integrity to stand up to a lot of the world's largest developers who at the time were building in this city and tell them, I don't care that you don't believe philosophically what we are doing. We know what we are doing is right.
This is our customer, and we're going to represent our customer. You want to win the business, but you want to do it right, and then the rewards follow.
Roger had a written guarantee of value. They literally had the right in our contract to fire us at any time with or without cause. And at the end of the transaction, if they didn't think that we had earned everything we were going to make, they could keep up to 100% of the money. And so clients got comfortable, and they loved that, and they respected that.
1987, I went to Roger and said, with a business proposal, and asked him to be my partner. Roger guaranteed my first construction loan, which next to your wedding vows is probably one of the biggest commitments you'll ever make in your life.
In the ultra-competitive commercial real estate industry in Dallas, if you want in, you need a champion. Like Henry S. Miller did for him, Papa has done for so many others. No matter where you come from, no matter your race or gender, Papa sees people as people.
I was fortunate enough to win the Roger Staubach Award after 4 seasons at playing football at the Naval Academy. I looked over to Roger and I just said, hey, I'm an economics major. I've done a lot of research on your company and would love to know, what kind of classes can I be taking while I'm in the Navy to maybe someday come work for you even? And he kind of looked around. He's like, I don't know, just call me. And so he's affected generations in my family and so many others, and that's his heart.
Roger sat down and we had a conversation about it. He said, okay, when you retire, give me a call. He has always been a very generous man, and I've respected him ever since I was a little kid. But when you get to know somebody, that respect goes to a whole nother level.
Selfless is a word I've heard a lot about Papa. As a naval officer, he has a special place in his heart for military service men and women. So when Admiral Mike Mullen, who was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, asked him to start Allies in Service, a non-profit that helps returning veterans land jobs, Papa once again answered the call.
He's wise because he's a veteran. He gets it. He's worn the uniform. He understands the hardships that are associated with serving in uniform, and most of all, what it's like to transition and want to come home to continue to serve. I've seen him see people at their best and at their worst, and he always has time. I respect him as a business person. I respect him as a veteran. I respect him as a football player, but I respect him most as the man.
At his core, Roger Staubach the man is a family man.
He took 30 members of our family all to Disney World.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not his favorite place to go to, but he wanted to take all the grandkids, and he would go on the rides with us, and he was with us from Disney World from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
My other grandmother makes a phenomenal apple pie, and that's his by far favorite thing, and that's mine too. And he is always, I remember one time the first thing he saw me, instead of saying like, hey Joe, he goes, is your grandmother bringing the apple pie? Like, it is, he loves it.
He is definitely always keeping us laughing
Yeah.
by telling jokes.
He doesn't laugh at his own jokes.
No. Yeah, and it's like the dad jokes, but they're actually funny.
Yeah, but they're like good.
In 2008, Papa sold the Staubach Company to Jones Lang LaSalle. Before his retirement, he was executive chairman of the Americas for JLL for a decade. Why? Because he was in love with the real estate business. Yes, he's a Pro Football Hall of Famer, but Papa considers himself a real estate man.
Roger's fiercely competitive, most competitive person I've ever known. And he's got the discipline to pursue and use that competitiveness, and then Roger never compromises.
Since day one, he's just been that guy with ethics through the roof. I think that he is legitimately one of the greatest human beings of our generation.
Hard work and honesty. No one outworked him, but also there was not a better person.
I think the most important thing is that you can never, ever lose your conscience. You've got to have a feeling for the importance of somebody other than yourself.
If you treat people right, you honest in your dealings with them, you'll win in the long run. The moral of the story is that good guys really do win.